It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
Good morning. The meeting of parole is convening at Louisiana State Penitentiary. Today is Tuesday, December 14th, 2023. It's 9:51 a.m. With staff at the penitentiary, please introduce yourself for the record.
Deputy Warden Tracy Falgood.
Young road classification.
Resident Latin Road classification.
Jody Sturgeon, transition specialist. Carmen Shipley, offender records.
Okay, and Mr. Fisher, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Would you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your DOC number?
My name is Kendrick Fisher, and my DOC number is 349524.
And would you introduce the guests that you have there with you, sitting behind you?
Behind me, I have Chandrika Manuel. I have Mary Fisher. I have Sean Johnson. I have Sean Williams, and I have Sean two sons.
3 Sean's?
Yes.
Wow.
Three
Is any one of those people going to speak on your behalf?
Yes, Mary Fisher.
Okay, and we'll call on her at the appropriate time. Here with us in Baton Rouge, we also have Daryl Waters, who's here. I had Joseph Landix, I guess, is on Zoom. And then we have the Parole Project, Mindy Myers is here. We also have here with us in Baton Rouge representing the victim. We have Darlene Taylor, Z. Omar Taylor, and Rasheen Taylor, and Timoleon Dunn. And those who've indicated they'd like to speak, we'll hear from them at the appropriate time. So you are here this morning, Mr. Fisher, because you appeared before the Pardon Board. And at that time, the Pardon Board made a favorable recommendation for a commutation of your life sentence. You were originally sentenced in East Baton Rouge Parish in 1994 to life for a second-degree murder conviction. The Pardon Board recommended a commutation of your sentence from life to 75 years with parole eligibility after having served 50% of that time. Governor Edwards signed that on September 26, 2023, and that made you parole eligible. So that's why we're here today. Is that your understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Roche. Would you answer any questions he may have?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Fisher. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Nice seeing you again.
Yes, yes.
Good. Mr. Fisher, you're currently 48 years old, and your first felony offender is Mr. Renasa said that you were granted a commutation of sentence signed on September 26, 2023, and community sentence to 75 years with parole eligibility after serving 50% of that, which was 37 years. But because of Act 122, you over the age of 45 and you had served more than 20 years. Once the governor signed that commutation of sentence to 75 years, you became eligible immediately because of Act 122. I just want to put that on the record because the recommendation was 37 and a half years, but Act 122 supersedes that recommendation. So let's go over the programs that you've completed since your pardon hearing.
Well, since my pardon hearing, I completed carpentry. I completed horticulture. I completed IC35, IC36. I became a certified tutor, and I even got a driver's license.
So you've been busy.
I've been big, real busy.
Okay. Before your pardon, had you taken Thinking for a Change?
Yes, I did.
Anger management,
Yes,
victim awareness,
Yes.
Any other good time classes that you completed?
Inside Out Dads. Thinking for a Change. Anger Management. Pre-release. I did the pre-release.
So you've taken all the basic good time classes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You've earned 690 days good time.
Yes, sir.
That's over and above what I usually see. That is a very high number for good time credits. You should be commended.
Thank you.
Have you received any disciplinary write-ups since your pardon hearing?
No, sir.
When is the last disciplinary write-up you received?
2007.
So we're talking almost 17 years ago.
Yeah, almost.
And basically, in 2 months, you would have served 30 years of your sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to ask permission from Ms. Timberland Dunn. Ms. Dunn, are you in the hearing room?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Timberland Dunn, you wrote a beautiful letter to the parole board.
Mm-hmm.
And you started off by saying you were 2 years old when your father died.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that letter, you wanted to relay a message to Mr. Fisher. Would you like me to paraphrase that letter, or would you like to give him that message personally?
If you don't mind, I would appreciate if you would paraphrase it for me.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Ms. Dunn sent the parole committee a letter, and I'm not gonna read the whole letter, but I'm gonna paraphrase some of the things. She says, "Hello, my name is Timberland Dunn. I am the daughter of Timothy Dunn. I'd like to express my opinion on the hearing in hopes that it would fall on the appropriate ears. My father was murdered when I was just 2 years old. I don't have many memories." And she goes on, and it's a beautiful letter, but at the end, she states, however, and I'm going to start by saying that I have prayed over the years for Mr. Fisher tremendously, and although Mr. Fisher made a mistake resulting in the loss of life, I believe he has spent enough time paying for his mistakes. And it is my desire that he be released and reunited with his family. At 18, you were still a kid, which means Mr. Fisher has grown up in prison, and no one is the same person decades later. Although my mother, the widow of Timothy Dunn, personally does not agree with me with the release of Mr. Fisher, she has made it clear she stands with me on whatever I feel. I don't know if Mr. Fisher will ever get a chance to hear this statement, but if he does, I have two requests of Mr. Fisher. Should he be released, I beg you to enjoy life. Be a better man than you were a teenager. Have a family. Treat people right. Value life. My second ask is to help better another life. There are troubled teenagers out there, as you once were. Help other teens change the course of their life. Be a mentor. However many people you can. But even if you have a chance to change one young man's life, that is good enough for me. Enjoy life and value life. I thought it was a very poignant letter, and from a young lady that's in her early 30s, it is very compassionate. Martin Falgo, do you have any
Yes, sir.
comments other than the ones you made at the parole hearings? Has anything changed?
Nothing has changed. As he stated earlier, he's continued to progress with being a tutor, and programming. We've not had any issues.
Thank you, Warden. Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roshni. All right, now, Mr. Fisher, we're going to hear from the folks who want to speak on your behalf. First, we'd like to hear from Ms. Fisher, who's there with you.
Good morning. My name is Mary Fisher. I'm Kendrick Fisher's mother. I just want to say my son has worked hard. He is very sorrowful and remorseful about what he did as a teenager. And I think his time here, he has learned some valuable things about life, forgiveness, and being a better person. So I just pray that you do grant him a release.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, the Parole Project, Mr. Myers.
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. I don't know how I can follow that letter. I've never seen compassion like that. Mr. Fisher has worked very hard to be where he is today. Parole Project is here to help him through his initial transition. His long-term plan, and he already has an ICOTS approved to Texas. Once he finishes with our program, which will help him with his adjustment through social norms, consumer skills, social reintegration, financial literacy, and practical financial matters, technology, and the other things that after almost 30 years in prison, that someone in his situation is going to need. We're fully prepared to help Mr. Fisher through this transition and prepare him for the next step when he goes to Texas. So we would just ask this board to grant his parole today.
All right, thank you. Okay, we'll move and hear from the opposition. There is opposition. So do y'all have a preference here? Who would like to speak first? Just step up to the podium. All right, Mr. Taylor, if you would just introduce yourself and tell us your relationship to the victim.
Good morning. My name is Rashawn Taylor, younger brother of Timothy Dunn. And what I would like to just express to you guys is that not only was my loved one taken from me at 11 years old, I've lived my life over the past 29 years with a sentence. And the pain that I've experienced has transcended the actions of this commission. It's been impactful to my family, to my children, just having to deal with drama, the traumatic loss of a loved one. I can't go and visit my loved one at a facility, have to go to Southern Memorial and visit the gravesite. And so I commend Mr. Fisher for his actions. I've forgiven him for what he took from me and my family, but I still do not think that those actions warrant an early parole. There are people incarcerated and get longer sentences for drug charges. I'm sentenced with life of losing my loved one, and I have to deal with that on a daily basis. So I am in opposition, and I thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir.
So, Timothy Don, brother, middle brother. I just don't feel like he gave enough time to come home. My brother died in my home. I was there with my brother when it happened. And he shot my brother. And he ain't shoot at one time. He shot him multiple times. And I'll never get to see my brother again. I never get to shake his hand. I never get ball with him. I never get to do that ever again. So I just feel like it's not enough time. I think, you know, when it first happened, he had a smile on his face. I guess he thought it was funny. The things he said, this is how we do it from Houston or Texas. They had multiple people that was out there. More than my brother could have got shot. Could have been your loved one, could have been your sister. So he didn't care about nothing. He pulled the trigger. And I forgive him. I prayed about it. I forgive him. But I mean, the programming is good. All that's good. I mean, I just don't feel like 28 years is enough time. It's just not. I lost a lot. So, you know, I have to give him up at the grave. So I got to talk to him through a picture. And people to come to him. You know, so that's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Terry's mother. And I have two sides to it. My human side just feel like he's taking a lot from me, a lot. And I think about him every day. Certain songs, certain places I go that were his favorite. It's just his ongoing thing. So the human side of me, I just never heard from him. I'm sorry. I made a mistake or forgive me. Anything. I mean, I know he can't directly, but some way, last time and this time, I should have heard some type of sorry. Now I have the spiritual side that says we're supposed to forgive. And I do, I forgive him. And I have the spiritual side that says one day I may do something that I need to be forgiven or not
somebody just hold it so tight on me. So I'm really putting this in God's hand. And I do want you to know I truly forgive you. I really do. In all my heart. And I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I don't wish no harm to him or his family. I wish him the best. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Right. Mr. Fisher, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank the board for the opportunity of being able to apologize for the pain and suffering that I caused the Dunn family. I also would like to thank the board that I have the opportunity to express myself because of rules and regulations. I could never have contact with the victims. So I could never make what I was feeling knowledgeable to them without violating the rule. And since changing my lives, I've been walking that guideline and looking forward. But I also would like to mention that, you know, since my transition, I have used everything that I have become equipped with to help others. Mentoring, teaching classes, majority of the classes that you have heard that I've taken, I facilitated them classes as well, so that other people would not make the same decision I made that night that caused Mrs. Dunn to relive that pain and suffering again. And again, I thank the board for allowing me this opportunity to be able to apologize. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we're prepared to vote, Mr. Roche.
Mr. Fisher, based upon positive, well, first of all, before I give my decision, I want to thank everyone. Mr. Dunn's family for coming. I know it wasn't easy, but thank you. The victim is always a part of this process. We try to keep the victim a part. And we want to thank you. And we want to thank Mr. Fisher's family for their contributions. Mr. Fisher, based upon positive marks from Warren Falcon, excellent transition plan with the Louisiana Parole Project, and then with an improved ICOT to the state of Texas. And the daughter of the victim is unopposed to your release. She's advocating for your release. Based on all those factors, I am granting your early release under the following conditions: that you be released to the Louisiana Parole Project, and when they think you're ready, you should go directly to an improved ICOT to the state of Texas. You ought to have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And at the request of Ms. Dunn, you ought to do community service with at-risk youth. I normally do 4 hours a month, but I'm gonna double yours because Ms. Dunn wants you to tell your story, work with the troubled youth. I want you to do that 8 hours a month. Find time in the evening, on the weekends. I want you to do 8 hours of community service with at-risk youth. Get with your parole officer, get with your pastor at the church, get with schools, tell them your story, what it cost you, and hopefully you will lead them in the right direction. Ms. Dunn said, if you only save one young man, it's worth it. I'm gonna leave you with the words of the victim's daughter. Enjoy life, value life, because you only get one and they cannot be replaced. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mrs. Jackson.
First, I'd like to just address the Taylor family. I know this is difficult. I don't discount it at all. But Ms. Taylor, I want to say that I appreciate your struggle. I do. Because as a person of faith, we're called to forgive. And a lot of times we hear people say, forgive, but I won't forget. It's not forgiveness. Because when God forgives, what does he do? He throws our sins into the sea of forget. And I know this is difficult. I will share with you a situation that I thought was just very impactful for me. There was another mother at another parole hearing or pardon hearing who came fully intending to oppose the release of the offender. But she said she talked to a very wise young man, and that young man told her that your God is not just your God. He's the God of the offender as well. And if it's God's will and he be released, he'll be released. And she had peace with it. And I kind of think that's where you are.
Yeah.
You will be at peace. And I appreciate how you feel. I appreciate your being here and appreciate your. But our job is not to, I forgot the word, hold so tightly. You said something about hold so tightly, something over that person's head.
Yeah.
Nobody is the same at 48 that they are at 18. You're reckless, you're irresponsible, foolish. And so our job here is not to hold so tightly to this 18-year-old that we can't see the 48-year-old and can't recognize God's grace at work in his life. And so he's not the same person. He's changed. He's done a lot to grow, to serve others. And those are the things that we look at when we decide whether or not to recommend a commutation, and certainly to talk about the parole. And I think that Mr. Fisher has done everything that he could have done in his situation to improve himself. But more importantly than that, he didn't just stop with himself. He did a lot to impact the lives of other people. And I think that's important. And in some ways, that's a legacy to your son, because he owed that to your son to be the best person that he could possibly be. And so my vote today, likewise, would be to grant his parole because of the work that he's done on himself, and on behalf of others, grant to the parole project, and then to the approved ICOTS to Texas. And I hope you find this.
Mr. Fisher, first, I'd like to thank everybody who participated today, everybody. This was a meaningful hearing. And I'm not going to repeat everything that's been said. My vote also is to grant to the parole project and to the out-of-state plan with the same special conditions Mr. Roche mentioned too. Good luck to you.
Thank you.